I do find it kind of funny, actually, that it looks like it actually does look like Nakaba is gonna go down the whole plot line of Lancelot cucking Arthur. So I'm curious to know like where he's gonna really go, like in full. Like how far is he gonna eventually like age the characters up? Is eventually like we're gonna have adult Arthur, like an adult Lancelot, and you know what? I assume Percival would like. It'll be really weird if Percival doesn't age with them and he just stays short. I'm kind of, unless there's a specific reason he's always going to be really short. I kind of hope eventually he gets taller, or at least kind of like fills out more. Maybe gets like a little bit taller, gets more buff. I don't know. Regardless of which, with this whole setup, I think that the series, like it definitely puts one of those more interesting Arthurian lore plot lines into the fray. But it's like, well, how is he going to write it in his own way? How is it going to integrate in the plot? Because obviously Seven Deadly Sins, and obviously now Four Knights especially, has, you know, had a lot of ties to Arthurian lore, but he ends up, you know, doing what a lot of creators do. They'll take ideas and kind of redirect it in different ways that fit more into their story, but obviously have a base root of inspiration of where they come from. So when we look at right now with Arthur, he's a big mystery character, and now we have this whole thing with who I guess is Guinevere. I'm hoping that through her we'll find out more information on Arthur soon. Like if we have an important character like this, who Arthur's obviously looking for and whatnot, then it would make sense that we have. It would make sense that we would have a point of kind of like that core important lore. If we don't have to find out everything, but if we're gonna have stuff about this girl in the like this arc bit happen, logically I think we should find out something that kind of gives us a crumb towards the level of story relevance that this character has. And obviously she should be pretty high up there. I imagine Arthur's looking for her. And on top of that, if you know where she would fit in Arthurian lore and the story of how it vaguely is going to go forward from that, as said in its own direction. But with all of this said, look, one very intriguing. I definitely want to know where this is gonna like go for this arc, especially. Like I assume we're gonna have one of those things where it's like the city's kind of just gonna be brought up into chaos. There's gonna be fights all over the place and enemies and a whole bunch of wild things going on. The only thing that I would say is gonna be the big question mark is what is Nakaba gonna do with Meliotis in this scenario? Because Meliotis, I would assume, should be able to clap any of the bad guys right now that are gonna show up unless Arthur shows up. Maybe that's his plan. Maybe Arthur will show up and we'll see a Meliotis and Arthur skirmish. Since like if we see Guinevere, like I think logically we could have Arthur want to show up there, if only briefly. Or even get like an avatar of him. Like maybe he doesn't leave Camelot, but he pretty much makes as said, an avatar of himself that he goes to fight Meliotis. And maybe it's like, oh well, this one's only half as powerful, whatever, as full Arthur, but Meliotis is barely able to beat 50% Arthur. And it's just kind of one of those things where it gives you an understanding of like the threat and what the Four Knights have to eventually overcome to, save everybody and save the realm and whatnot. So anyway, beyond that point, that's obviously the biggest aspect of what's going on right now. It's like the big events of the series from that cliffhanger at the end. But when you look at other stuff, the stuff with Chion, that guy is a big idiot. Like I gotta say, that guy just seems really stupid to me. He's like, I don't really believe in prophecies or any of that. I believe more in the people I believe it, like that I put my trust in. And I get the logic. Of him being like, well, I'm not going to put all my faith into this prophecy, into this prediction of what might happen. For one, there's so many problems with that. I think generally, in so many ways, because in real life, if some people brought up a prophecy, something that a lot of people believed in, but obviously a lot of people wouldn't believe it. But this is like a magic world prophecy, where it's like, yeah, you can have characters look into the future and have these abilities. But on top of that, you already have shown 3 out of these 4 Knights of the Apocalypse, and you see how powerful they clearly are. Even Percival, who like right now he has no experience. He just has a lot of untapped potential, and they saw like that crazy unhinged Percival ran through Chion and his friends. So it's like, well, what do you, for on top of that, like, what do you expect to do with Wayne? If he's on level with these guys, even remotely, you're gonna get your ass demolished the second he wants to actually fight. Like, if the next time we see, like, we go over there and Gwaine has already defeated Chion and Chion's on the ground doing one of those, like, oh my god, I can't believe it kind of thing. It's impossible. I wouldn't be surprised. Because it's like, why are you trying to fight somebody or even go mess with them if you know where, like, this guy should relatively be at power-wise? Because, like, all he has to do is be within that realm between, like, Lancelot. Like, put Percival at the bottom, because we know Percival, like, he has a lot of untapped potential, like I said, but he doesn't have the experience or the fighting prowess and stuff as Lancelot and Tristan clearly have. But if Gwaine is anywhere between Percival and then Lancelot and Tristan, he's gonna completely demolish Chion. So it's like, dude, what are you doing? You, like, if he was gonna go and like poison him or like kill him in his sleep, okay. But it's like, you're gonna go and just like openly attack him. Like, all you've done is put some rock hands on him. He's gonna beat your ass. But like, one thing that I wanted to say is, like, I get the logic of like not wanting to put all your cards into one hat, but it's like, why would it be to the extent you're gonna go, what, attack this guy or try and kill him? Like, it should be like a logical person would be like, well, I'm still gonna like want to train and keep my, push the people on my team, put faith in my, the people that I have my belief in. Sure. But it's like, you don't just go like, well, fuck the other guys to the extent I'm just gonna go out of the way and try and kill them. It's like, why? No. Like, could you imagine if it's like, could you imagine brand loyalty and it's like you're so into the Apple products, you just start going to other companies and start burning them down and being like, I have to make sure that the main one goes, and just go completely ballistic on everything else. And on top of that, he's a knight. Like, it's the same thing that I get mad about when people act like stuff in like Black Clover, when we talk about something like William's betrayal and whatnot. And it'd be similar to this. You always have to keep in mind, these guys are part of a military. They're not just like random adventurers who decide to take a turn in their choices. Because like, if it's a character just on their own, yeah, because then that's up to perspective and their own actions, their own choices, and how they view things and how they feel like they should act in a scenario. But when you're a part of a military, you're part of an organization where there's a hierarchy, especially when it's not just like you're in a gang, but it's also literally your job that you willingly went out of your way to join, that you openly went out of your way to become a part of, knowing that this has a hierarchy, it has a whole system of people you have to that you answer to, that you have to take orders from. And it's like, if you believe a lot in Tristan, and Tristan believes in this plan, and not only that, it's the guy that he's directly getting the prophecies and whole situated from, Tristan's dad and his grandfather. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? This is like one of the most pea-brain character things that I've seen of it. And I get that he's just some weird unhinged dude, like side character, but it's like, dude, you have to be an idiot to think this is gonna go your way. You have to be really stupid. Because if he had no idea the power, because it bothers me so much, just in like the idea of him going at, like, just getting clapped by Percival. If he had no idea how strong Gwaine was, or like the capabilities, potential of what Gwaine could do as a fighter, I'd say, okay, that's slightly more understandable. But how do you go into that knowing it, and then have such a weak opening attack as make a bunch of rock hands to grab it? You don't know what this guy can do. This could be an illusion. This could be, he could control things with his mind. He could shoot laser beams out of his face. Who knows? Like, the dude could do so many things. You just saw Percival touch somebody and mummify their damn hand. Your hand, actually. It was them. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, it wasn't the other dude. It was literally you. Like, this guy's just stupid. This guy's an idiot. And he's probably gonna get clapped and then be surprised about it. That's my guess. Like, that's funny, is like, I liked the rest of the chapter except this guy's actions. I was like, dude, you're kind of stupid. Like, what are you doing? You're kind of stupid, my guy. So yeah, he's gonna lose, is my bet, and he's gonna be really, really shocked that he lost to this dude who is hyped up on the same tier as not only Lancelot and Tristan, who's clearly at beyond the scene, but Percival, who literally just showed that he could clap him and not just beat him in a fight, but literally murder him if he was left unchecked. So besides that, there was like the whole bit with the mystery character at the end. I'm really hoping, because there's the part where like that one knight hits him and his hand is on fire. I'm kind of hoping that we actually get like a reveal that this is Gawain, because I like this guy. Like I usually don't. I try not to talk too much about theories and stuff before I do my reviews. I've been a little bit more loose on it, but not with people online, but specifically like the Four Knights of the Apocalypse YouTube Quan Incredible. Obviously, if you watch this, you probably know about him. See it, like I said, the premier Four Knights YouTuber. My idea that like, what if this dude who was just like attacked that with Ruby Rose Holy Knight or whatever, Ruby Holy Knight. I don't know where Ruby is in there. Like, it's just the naming I've heard in so many fictions, and actually that chick in real life too. I've just heard it so much that it's like, if it's a side character, something I barely even want to acknowledge, it just kind of comes together with those two words. But yeah, Pelio. Like Quan is saying this is Pelagard. I was hoping so bad that this is actually like, his seems more likely, but I feel like there's that slight kind of hope, because if you look at Gawain's helmet has the whole sun design on it. So like, what if like the armor is not actually him, and it's like, what if they're split people, like something that it's like they're split apart? Because like, imagine this is my theory. It's because the guy hits this buff dude, and he ends up like, his hand is on fire, and the guy says like he'll give him his name if he's deemed worthy of it. Now imagine this is my theory. This is obviously way more of a crazy theory. I feel like Quan's idea of this Pelagard probably is way more of a easy to digest, more logical one. But imagine this: Gawain's thing with because like I said, the sunshine faceplate, obviously the whole thing is his character was going to be revealed with some extra mystery. Imagine that he has sunshine, because there's something about sunshine with Escanor that we didn't see with with Mail, and it's that Mail just seemed to have sunshine and be able to use sunshine. I didn't see, at least not that in my memory, he didn't have the whole nerf of, oh well, you're only strong during the day, you're weak at night. And I don't remember if his steel scaled the same way. I feel like that he got stronger during the day somewhat, but it was never significantly enough that it was ever like, not to what Escanor was. Like, Escanor, obviously at night he's piss weak, whereas like Escanor during the day was consistently one of the strongest people throughout the series. Like, every time, like, we would see the stages of it every single time. It wasn't until like way later at the end when we got to the Demon King where like the one could be pushed and then it was the ultimate one and stuff. But like, imagine the idea is Gawain also has sunshine, but instead of that limiter, like that time limit thing where it's like, oh, you're weak during the day, or sorry, you're weak at night, strong during the day. What if during the day he split into two people? Like, you have the one that's this quiet one that just doesn't really know what to do, and he is almost like this robotic character. So he's the weakness of it. So like say that like Chion actually has an advantage in this, because the rope, like the one that he's seeing right now, has very little kind of free thought and free will, and it would just kind of barely fight back at best during the day, where this is the downside to sunshine for Gawain, whereas the one we're seeing fighting right now is the fighter side of it. I think that would be really cool. That's just something like a wild theory that I thought of when I was reading it. Again, I could easily be wrong, but I feel like this would just be a really neat idea, because I'll be really sad if the whole sunshine doesn't have any ties to Gawain after seeing that really cool armor. Because I've said it before, I'm a fan of full face armor, and especially when they don't put like lips or any form of face on it. The closest like you get like cool like skull stuff and some kind of monsters, I give a pass to, but generally I like it when armors have just like the somewhere that they can see, and just kind of like a face guard, and you don't really see much of their face. And Gawain has that setup, and I really like his armor. I think his armor is definitely one of my favorites that Nakaba has done. So I'm hoping he is going to be treated with as much interest and as much kind of like intrigue with his character that really builds it. And it looks like he also has a shield, so I think that would make a lot of sense for like the idea of if the weaker Gwaine, kind of like, again, if he split, like the weaker half is inside here, put in a full like set of armor, give it a shield to to just be as protected as possible, while the stronger one, as we see, is not really armored. He's pretty much just wearing like clothes. He's just got boots on. And it would also make sense, I think, if that would if like the more fighter side, if like say split up, and then this one is not wearing as much because he doesn't need as much. And it would also make sense of that display of like why this guy's attacks wouldn't really hurt him, because why would he need a suit of armor if his body is already like essentially like a suit of armor? So that's just a theory. Again, I could easily be wrong on it. It's just something that was pretty wild that I thought of while reading it, and I thought it'd be pretty cool. But besides that, the end stuff is just like the whole bit with who I'm guessing is Guinevere, and now with her affections to Lancelot. And it's one of those things where I feel like we're gonna eventually get into age up, because like all of the most core characters right now are pretty young. All like the main cast members, all the four knights are pretty young, even though they're all like the old, like Lancelot and Tristan are obviously look much older in comparison to Percival, but they're still only 16. And I'm guessing that my guess is Guinevere is probably somewhere in that kind of like, my guess is like she looks really short. She's also a girl, so maybe she's like 12, and it's gonna be one of those things where eventually we're gonna see age up. Everybody's like in their early 20s at that point. Arthur, who I can't remember how old Arthur is. I guess Arthur now would be much older. It's just like because of the 17 years, but he doesn't look like he's aged since how he was in Seven Deadly Sins. And I think he was like 17 or something. So like he would look around. I mean, he would look around that kind of like young, similar age as the other characters, but I don't know. I feel like an age up, especially after that silhouette, would really fit. But we don't have to have them as be old men, but I think kind of like in that same age as like you got like a lot of the Seven Deadly Sin characters, where they're kind of they look like they're in their early 20s for the most part, and they kind of maybe keep Percival at that kind of shortness. I don't know what his plan is with that, but that's at least just my belief. I don't know. Nakaba has had this history of things of having like these relationships of either one of them is a loli or one of them is a shota. I don't really care, but either way, it's intriguing because I think it sets up that idea of the time skip, because I think it makes sense when we saw that silhouette, is that the four knights, you had Percival look still that young small self when we know that he's actually like 16 plus, like he's 16 years old at least, and he still looks the same at like something like he's like 12 or something, whereas the other people all aged up. I do question a little bit on Tristan and Lancelot's aging, considering they're both part species. Like Lancelot is half human, so him having like a different age process, you can say, and also he spent time in like, was it, I can't remember exactly what it's called, the spirit, I don't remember if it was just a spirit world, if there was an extra name to it, but Tristan is literally half goddess and half demon, from like two different species that both age really slowly. I don't think it matters, but there's just something that it is going to be like a consistent thing I'm going to be thinking about the whole series. It's just when it's weird when you have like characters like similar thing to Bleach was that just last thing is Renji. Yeah, it's the kid, like it's been like the age appropriate for Ichigo's kid to age up, but it's like, how is this kid already like looking like 13 or whatever, when was it 10 years or 100 years looked 10 years for the Soul Reapers after like time skips we've seen. Anyway, it's just fun. Other than that, comment below, thumbs up to do, but like, subscribe, and check out my other videos. And that, appreciate it. So subscribe, and thank you for listening. Bye.